Hi second graders, so today we're going to be talking about subtracting 3-digit numbers and money amounts. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about estimating our differences. And remember, difference is the answer you would get from a subtraction problem. So we're going to start with this problem right here. First, let's estimate what we think our answer could be. So estimating is kind of like guessing, but thinking with guessing. So we're going to think, what are some numbers that are close to 682 and to 263 that are easier to work with than these numbers, because these are kind of tricky. And so we could say, what about 680? 680 is easier to work with than 682. And this one, we could think 260. So now we can do some estimating. You can do it in your head or you can do it on paper. I'm going to show you right here. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. And 6 minus 2 is 4. So our estimated amount is 420. So that would be our estimated amount. So now we're going to actually solve this. And it's easier to look at a big problem like this with these big numbers as money. And so this could be 682 pennies. And this could be 263 pennies. And so that would make us have these money amounts. So I'm going to put my dollar sign and I'm going to put my decimal here to show that these are the cents. So we'll start with the ones place because we always start with the ones place when we're subtracting. So do I have enough ones? No, I don't, because I cannot take 3 away from 2. This number needs to be bigger on top. So I need to borrow from the tens place. So I'm going to borrow from this 8, which is in the tens place. I'm going to cross out the 8. And now it is 7. And I'm going to put the 1 that I just borrowed, the amount of 10, in front of this 2. So now this is 12. Now I can ask myself again, do I have enough ones? And yes, I do. I have enough ones now. So 12 minus 3, and that is 9. 9, okay. So now we're going to go over to the tens place. And I ask myself, do I have enough tens? And the answer is yes. So I do not have to borrow from the hundreds place. So I can just subtract it. So 7 minus 6 would just be 1. Now that we've gotten to the decimal, we have to remember to bring down the decimal. And now we can go to the hundreds place. And you can even ask yourself, do I have enough hundreds? And we do. And luckily we do because there's nowhere to borrow from. So 6 minus 2 would be 4. And then we could put our dollar sign there since we're doing it like money. And you can look at your estimate that you did, and it might have been something around this, and see if it's close. And this one is almost spot on, which is awesome. So that means that our estimate was really good. And so we have $4.19, and that would be 419 pennies. So let's do another problem. Okay, so I'm going to do 781. This time we'll just leave it as numbers. We won't change it to money amounts in this one. So we can do another estimate for this one, so we can practice our estimating. So a number that would be like 781, that's easier to work with, would just be 780. So I just take 1 away. A number like 149, now this one's a little trickier. What's a number that's close to 149, but is easier to work with, that doesn't have so many different numbers in it, that maybe has a 0 at the end? We could do 150, so we would just go up 1. So let's do our estimate. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 5 is 3. And 7 minus 1 is 6. So our estimated amount is 630. So we'll see if we're close here in a minute when we do this one. So now we start with the ones place, remember? And we ask ourselves, do I have enough ones? No, I do not. I need to borrow. So we're going to take from the tens place, which is at 8, cross it out, it becomes a 7, and we put the 1 in front of ours, and now this is 11. Now I can ask myself again, do I have enough ones? And the answer is yes, because I borrowed. And so 11 minus 9, that would be 2. So let's go to our tens place. 7, I forgot to ask, do I have enough tens? Yes, I do, so I can go ahead and subtract. So 7 minus 4 would be 3. And then we can go to our hundreds place. We can ask ourselves if we have enough hundreds, and we do, which is great. So 7 minus 1, and that is 6. So you can look, was our estimate close? Yeah, I would say it's pretty close. It wasn't as close as last time, but it was only 2 off. And so that was a good estimate right there. So let's do 2 more. Okay. And this one we'll do with money since we didn't do the last one. So we have 282 minus 374. And we'll change this to money. So we'll put decimals there and our money signs. So this is like 828 pennies, 374 pennies, or $8.28, $3.74. So we'll go ahead and get started. And this one we won't do an estimate on. We're just gonna practice our subtracting of 3-digit numbers. So 8 minus 4, do we have enough ones? Yeah, we do actually. So this time we don't need to borrow in the ones from the tens place to bring it to the ones place. We can just go ahead and subtract because we can take 4 away from 8. And that would be 4. So now we're in our tens place, 2 minus 7. And I can ask myself, do I have enough tens? No, I don't. This is the first time that we haven't had enough tens. And you might think, what do I do now? Well, it is just the same as it would be in the ones place if we didn't have enough ones. We're going to borrow, but we're going to borrow from the hundreds place. So just like how we would borrow if we needed to here, we're going to borrow from the one to the left of us. So we always borrow from the left of us. So I'm going to borrow from this 8 that's in the hundreds place. It's going to become 7 or 700. I'm going to put a 1 in front of my 2, which becomes 120, or it becomes, you can just look at it as 12. So I have 12 minus 7. Do I have enough tens? And yeah, I do, because I borrowed. So 12 minus 7, and that is 5. Perfect. So now we're going to go on to our hundreds place. And we can ask ourselves, do I have enough hundreds? Do I have enough hundreds? And I do, because I don't have anywhere to borrow from. So 7 minus 3, and that would be 4. Now you can even think, man, if I were to estimate this, what number have I come up with? And you might guess 450 would probably be a good estimate if we would have estimated that before. Okay, we're gonna do one more. So we have 534, 336. We're gonna subtract those. We're not gonna do an estimate on this one, but we are gonna change it into money. So I'm gonna say that this is like 534 pennies, 336 pennies. So we're gonna put our decimals here, our money signs, dollar signs. And we're gonna start in the ones place like we always do. So I'm gonna say to myself, 4 minus 6, do I have enough ones? And I do not. I cannot take away 6 from 4. It's too big of a number to take away. So I'm gonna come over here. This is gonna turn into 2. And the 1's gonna go in front of this. And now we have 14. So now I can ask myself, do I have enough 1s? And I do now. So 14 minus 6, that's 8. And now we're gonna go over to the tens place. I'm gonna ask myself 2 minus 3, do I have enough 10s? I do not. I don't have enough 10s. I would have if I didn't borrow beforehand, but I had to borrow. So now I don't have enough 10s. And we're gonna borrow again, and that's actually just fine. You can borrow as much as you need to in a subtraction problem. So I'm gonna borrow again, and just like in the problem before, I'm gonna borrow from the left of me. So right here. And so I'm going to borrow from the hundreds place. So this 5 becomes a 4. And this little 2 up here that I already changed will actually become a 12. And now I have 12 minus 3. And I can ask myself, do I have enough 10s? And I do now. So 12 minus 3 is 9. Now on to the last one here. It's the hundreds place. And you can ask yourself, do you have enough hundreds, just to be sure? And we do. 4 minus 3. And 4 minus 3 is 1. We don't want to forget our decimal here and our dollar sign. So $1.98 or 198. Now you can think, if I were to have estimated this, what might have I estimated this to? And if you think 200 or $2, you would have been spot on. That would have been a very good estimate of that. And that is how we subtract using 3-digit numbers and money amounts, and how we estimate our differences.